I'm Shay Russell from mining.com.au, and joining me today is the president of Faraday Copper, Paul Harbidge. Paul, how are you today?
Oh, very good, Shay. Great to be here to talk to you again.
Yes, I'm thrilled to have you back because today we might actually nerd out a little bit about the geology of the Copper Creek project in Arizona. But before we get to some of the more technical aspects of the project, I was hoping you could provide an overview of the Copper Creek project for those who are new to this.
Yeah, certainly. It's one of the largest undeveloped copper resources in the US that's still in the hands of a junior. So we've got 4.2 billion pounds of copper in the measured and indicated category. And in all categories, almost 5 billion pounds of copper. It locates to the northeast of Tucson, in the heart of Arizona, which produces over 70% of the domestic copper in the US. We're blessed by excellent infrastructure. We've got a highway running past the project. There's an active rail line. There's actually a brand new renewable energy project being constructed past the project as well. And just 40 kilometers up the road, we've got Asako's Hayden smelter, which they've recently talked about re-permitting and getting up and running. So, the ability to produce domestic US copper is very exciting.
It certainly is. And I want to talk a little bit about your base case preliminary economic assessment that you did. Now, for Australians, that's the equivalent to a scoping study. Tell me, what was your base case PEA initially?
Yeah, Shay, we did that in May 2023, and there was two reasons behind doing it. One was firstly to demonstrate that there was an economically viable project here in Arizona, and secondly, it highlighted the key levers that we needed to focus on going forward to unlock further value from the project. And so the base case, envisaged a 30-year mine life, or just over 30 years actually, 10 years of open pit, followed by 20 years of underground. But what was exciting for us was the low initial capital. When you think of copper projects, you always think about those in Latin America with, billions of dollars of price tag, the fact that you're up at 4 or 5 kilometers in the Andes and you've got a desal water. Here we are, as I said earlier, blessed by excellent infrastructure. We don't have altitude issues. And so the ability for this low initial capital, we're talking of just shy of 800 million US to get the open pit up and running together with all the surface infrastructure. And then ongoing cash flow would not only repay that initial capital, but would fund your underground development. And as I say, a project that has just over 30 years of copper production in our minds is very exciting.
Yes, you are correct. And there's also some favorable tailwinds for this project that you've got here. But tell me, what excites you most about this project right now? And I really hope we get a chance to talk about the geology of the Copper Creek project.
Yeah, certainly. So what excites me is the value that we can unlock, and that comes from the exploration. So turning to the geology, we've got two styles of mineralization. We have these breccia pipes, which are broken clusters of rock, and then they've been cemented by the copper mineralization. They are exposed at surface and are what would constitute the open pit mining method. And then they transition down into porphyries, which have got a series of stacked quartz veins that carry the copper mineralization, in our case, chalcopyrite and bornite, and they would be mined from underground. Now, in terms of those breccias, though, we have over 300 that have been mapped at surface across the property. Only 37 have been drill tested and just 17 are in the resource. So we've got many more to go out and test. And already this year, at the beginning of the year, we made a new discovery in Area 51, where we've got a cluster of breccias that have got strong copper mineralization at surface, and again, have the potential to be mined by open pit mining methods. And currently we're drilling in what we call the American Eagle area, and that's above the American Eagle underground porphyry mineralization, where we have a whole series of breccias at surface that have never been fully evaluated. And first results have been coming out confirming, significant copper mineralization.
That is an excellent overview of the geology of the project. Thank you very much for that. And certainly a lot of words in there that are going to get rock nerds excited. But moving, myself included in that one. But moving forward, let's talk about some of the big catalysts coming up for the Copper Creek project. What should investors be keeping their eyes on?
Yeah, so Shay, we're currently executing on a 20,000 meter drill program. And so you can expect to see more drill results as we advance that project. And then the plan is that we also had 10,000 meters of new drilling post that scoping PEA study last year. So there was 10,000 then, there's 20,000 meters this year. That's 30,000 meters of new drilling that will get integrated into a new mineral resource update. Also importantly, we've now added gold assays to the database, which hadn't been captured before. So we'll be able to add gold into that mineral resource estimate. We've also completed more metallurgical work, and just important to say, we've got very good recoveries, over 95% copper in the sulfides, no deleterious elements, or certainly nothing that's penalty grade in the concentrate, and high grades in that concentrate, that over 30% copper. And so the idea then is to take that mineral resource and update the base case PEA stroke scoping study. And what we're seeing is the ability to increase throughput by 50%, so up to 45,000 tons per day, and increasing copper output to 75,000 tons annually. So that's real, value drivers, as well as including gold as a byproduct. So, exciting times at Copper Creek and Faraday, and a lot of news and excitement to come.
Yes, certainly. There's an awful lot of work happening behind the scenes. So investors should absolutely keep their eye out for news flow. Now, before we wrap up today, Paul, I just want to let everybody know that we should keep an eye out for our next video where we're going to talk about the big picture for copper. But listen, Paul, thank you very much for the overview of the project today. I personally love the geology rundown of what's happening over at Copper Creek. Thank you for being here.
Thanks, Shay, and look forward to speaking to you next time.